Yay.
Hello, everyone. I am so happy to have today to speak with Devon Burkhart, and she's going to share with us her little niche that she's got going on. And you know me, I love entrepreneurs. I love entrepreneurs who think outside the box and do something differently and kind of go against the grain a little bit. And let's go ahead and get started. Devon, why don't you go ahead and I'm just going to cut you loose. You have been an agent for 2 years now, and I love what you got going with your branding and your niche and what you provide to your customers. So I'm going to let you go and tell your story for us.
Okay, awesome. Hi, I'm Devon Burkhart, and I am your Knoxville, Tennessee real estate agent. And I started in real estate 2 years ago. I actually always wanted to get in real estate. My dad or my stepdad always told me that I should, even as a teenager, get into real estate. And then in my 20s, I actually went to work for vacation ownership because I read an ad and you had to have your license for that. And I kind of went to the corporate world for about 15 years and was there. And then couple of years ago, I just decided that I wanted to build something that I could keep more in contact with my community and be a little bit more involved. Because, in the vacation ownership, you see your clients and then they go back home. Mm-hmm. So you don't have a lot of contact. And I kind of, was looking for more authentic relationships. Mm-hmm. So I became a real estate agent. And then through doing that within my first year, I realized there's a lot of, boxes people have to check when they're buying or selling a home. They have to downsize or they're relocating, or sometimes, unfortunately, they have an estate that they have to handle. And 2020 proved that there was a lot of estates that had to be handled, unfortunately. And I've always kind of had the I can do everything kind of attitude. And so it kind of naturally just developed into an estate sale company. And my estate sale company is called Chick Flips Estate Sales and More. Uh-huh. And I'm actually wearing a t-shirt. So we have the t-shirt, but we did the and more because we wanted to be able to umbrella, and put stuff under there, such as staging, property management, anything, you mentioned entrepreneur, anything that we could really put under the umbrella in the home industry, possibly remodeling, potentially a moving company, handyman services, there's all different kinds of things that you can do under that. Yeah. And I feel that with, one thing about real estate, like in this area right now, especially when I first got in real estate, there was like 5,200 real estate agents. And as of last year, another like 2,000 have added just in this area. So, you have to do something.
Those are Californians, aren't they?
Yes, yes.
Getting their license so they can sell their house when they come over.
For sure. And, and with jobs changing and stuff because of the pandemic and stuff, people are looking to reinvent themselves. And so with that, I feel that you always have to have something that sets you apart. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's not. I feel like sometimes agents get too caught up on the brand or when they're trying to set apart of, what do I look like or what does my headshot look like and things like that. And I feel not that that stuff's not important. I just feel that building things authentically and actually providing service for somebody actually makes things happen a lot easier. Because I feel the more service-based you are, the more everything else kind of falls in line. Mm-hmm. So, since I've been in customer service, basically my whole life, whether or not one way or another, I've always been in some type of sales. Mm-hmm. So I figured I would take something where I've learned, everything that I've learned and kind of umbrella it over here. So then that way I can use my real estate and then, build authentic, leads and things like that as well. Because I mean, anybody can pay for a lead and anybody can join, those, branded companies and stuff. But I feel like if you're really going to truly build a, referral business and a word of mouth and brand it on yourself, you do have to come from a point of service. So that's kind of how, I got the Chick Flips Estates Sales and More.
Mm-hmm. I love it because I'm a firm believer that there's 101 ways to make money in real estate. You know what I'm saying? Like you're talking about, you can branch off to all these different aspects and services, that you can capitalize on and create additional streams of income.
For sure.
And I think that's going to be vital moving forward. You really have to have a diversified income stream,
Mhm.
moving forward, because you can't have your eggs all in one basket. That's for sure.
No, no, you can't. And
Today, that's the truth.
right, right. And I think and I think that, again, like kind of to reiterate, I do think that if you are looking for multiple streams of income, if you can kind of try to line them all up under the same umbrella, it makes a difference.
Yes.
I've seen some agents, they have their agents, they're an agent and they're doing okay with that, but then they sell weight loss stuff or, candles or, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those products,
Right.
but I think that if you're going to do those things, you have to find a way to put it under the housing umbrella. Like if you are going to do weight loss type, products, it should be something like, branded, like, you want to be healthy at home, or something. I don't know, it's not my thing. So, but I feel like that's the more beneficial way. And then I also think that it will lead to more, again, authentic relationships, where it's not so much of a sales, process. Cause, when you're selling a home to somebody or you're helping somebody sell their home, that's one of the absolute most important things they're going to do next to like having babies and, getting married. And so you want to make sure that, it's something that they, believe in you. They trust that you're going to do something well for them. And then, a lot of times as an agent, you end up doing A, B, C, and D, and you're not always just in your lane the way you're supposed to be, if you're a good agent anyways. And so it's important to hone those skills in and kind of figure out what am I doing extra for my clients and how can I turn that into a business. And I talk to people about that all the time, and I love helping, people out with that. It's fun. I love, brainstorming and, hearing new ideas, similar to you, like the entrepreneurial spirit, especially from women, like I'm all about empowering, inspiring women as much as I can.
Yeah, I love hearing I love hearing success stories and what people do differently, and the ones that step outside the box. Like I said, I love that. So how do you promote your services? How do you promote yourself?
For the most part, I just do it through social media. And then I took some welcome packets and got them together and told them a little bit about like myself as a real estate agent, what services the chick flip estate sales and more offer. And I went to like estate attorneys, divorce attorneys, accountants, and, had like little, packets to give them to introduce. And I thought I had a pen, but and pens and things like that. And that worked pretty well. And believe it or not, I went to other estate sale companies and introduced myself, because there's sometimes, and when you're a newer company, there are certain companies that they're a little bougier, or they've earned the right to, pass on certain types of sales if it's, not for whatever reason, I myself will never turn down. A lot of times the estate sale companies won't even go and take a look at the house. I will always go because I like to be helpful, because sometimes I'll even, give them pointers on how to just have a yard sale if that's, something that they need to do.
Yeah.
But I've contacted other estate sale companies, and they've given me some referrals for, when they don't have the time, or if it's not a sale that's like, up to whatever their standards are. So that's been nice as well. I think a lot of times people are afraid to reach out to like businesses that they're opening because they feel like, oh, they're my competition. And I really think that most people, you like to be helpful. And if you come to them from a source of, I would like your help, and if there's any way that I can help you, that generally, makes a difference, and you can build really good relationships.
Yeah, I think that's a good niche really to get into. I liquidated 4 estates last year, and one of them was, a 4,000 square foot home owned by a hoarder.
Right.
Oh God, it was quite the project, let me tell you.
Right. I bet.
By the time the family had come through and taken everything out that they wanted, and there was still a household full of stuff.
Right.
And, by the time it got down to the wire, the personal representative was just so overwhelmed. She didn't know what she was going to do. She was just going to, pay to have all this stuff just hauled off to the
right.
I said, give me one weekend. Give me one weekend. I jumped on my social media. I went live on my business page a couple of times. I just had a free pick.
Right.
I called all my pickers, you know.
Right. Right.
I had 20 or 30 people at that house Saturday morning just picking stuff up and walking out with it. And
Right.
oh my God, she was so grateful. It was so helpful. You know, we took out the most of the house with a couple of free picks.
Yes.
Well,
and that's basically how I got started, was just doing it that way. And then after I did a few sales, I started to get worried about liabilities and stuff. So I was like, I better turn this into a business, because it actually, like, it just kind of naturally manifested, you know, and so I didn't have a full business plan for it. So a lot of it I've been kind of learning as I go.
yes,
You know, which is fun, you know, and like I said, and it's given me the opportunity to be able to spin it a little bit and, you know, and mold it into the company that we would like it to be, you know, which is awesome. And then it gives me something as well that I can do with my wife. You know, like I do real estate and then she has her job, and then we kind of do that together.
Nice.
You know, and so that's nice as well.
Yeah, that works out well.
It does.
All right. So what else can you share with us today?
I would say that I think that a lot of times agents are sometimes nervous to do you know, things in person on your face, you know, like, you know, FaceTime or videos or things like that. It was something I had to work myself, you know, into, but I do think that people should try to get their face out there, not just, you know, posts.
Right.
You know, it's important for people to get to know you and to you know, and constantly remind, you know, people that you are an agent and that you do have services.
Right.
And, you know, and that not only that can you help them buy and sell their house, but if they have questions.
Right.
Because, you know, when people are watching the news and they're watching, you know, or just scrolling through Facebook, every day there's, you know, an article about interest rates, you know, going back up, or when they were coming way back, you know, going way down, you know, or the value of house, or like in our, you know, area, I think we've only got, like, I haven't checked today, but like 1,200 houses for sale and like 7,000 agents. So you've got to be on it. So, you know, there's all kinds of people out there that are just, that would like to put their house for sale, but they're concerned that they won't find a house that's a replacement. So if you're not having open dialogues with people and letting them know, like, look, I've got, you know, 10 people in my back pocket that are interested in selling their home. They just don't have a home that they want to move into yet. So if you communicate that with me, I might be able to, you know, introduce you all, and, you know, what your dream home is could be the house that they're, you know, wanting to downsize from.
Exactly.
So I just think that open communication, and I think that not letting, you know, however many agents are in the area, or versus how many houses are in the area. None of that should, you know, get inside your head. You know, you should just constantly do what you've learned to do, and, you know, make sure that you're consistent with it.
Now, do you have any advice for someone who wants to get into working the estate niche? I did this myself, you know, I dipped my toes in a lot of it.
Right.
So I did work at estates a couple of years ago, where we primarily did a direct mail campaign. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's a painful time, you know, for a lot of people, you know, and you have to have the right marketing message with the right medium. Because you're really touching on some people's souls, I think, at that point. It was brutal. I mean, I got some phone calls that just left me in tears because I put this letter out to this person, you know. I was awful. I thought, oh, this isn't my thing, you know. So do you have any advice for people who want to maybe start dipping their toes into that?
That's why I haven't ever really contacted anybody directly. Probably, I mean, that could be a strong marketing campaign possibly, but kind of what you said, it is a, you know, it's a touchy subject. And, you know, there's a couple of things that, you know, one, people always think, not always, but a lot of times people feel that their valuables, or their loved ones' valuables, I should say, are worth more than, you know, what they might be at a sale. So pretty much word of mouth, like I said, I reached out to attorneys and accountants and, just people, just other businesses that might hear of those things, antique places, even resale shops. I offered, like a finder's fee, like for a referral fee, if you refer one, because I feel like that's a little bit better. And it's never a big referral, just a gift card of some sort, and people usually like to be helpful and, help out with that. But I think that, you have to make sure that your message is clear in that we understand that this house is more than just, sticks and bricks with some stuff in it. We understand that that kitchen is where, you measured your children, or you were measured as a child and now your parent is gone, that, you played, 1,000 games of, kickball in this backyard growing up, and, and that there's a lot of sentimental value in that. And, and again, and I always use the word authenticity and, being authentic. I really think if people know that you come from a place of caring and a place of service, that, you really are in this business to help, whatever the reason got you into it, whether it be, even unfortunately the pandemic, seeing all of the heartbreak and all of these people, lose people and not being able to say goodbye, and, not be able to, to be able to, in some small way, help, one family member even, find a little bit of peace out of the leftover,
and resolve.
Yes. It's something that, I mean, it's not, it brings, I don't know, it warms your heart, but yes, you do. And, and there are sometimes in some sales that, it will take it out of you a little bit, and you just have to, that's part of it. Yeah. But the same thing in real estate, but I just think that social media is probably the easiest way to advertise yourself with that. I haven't had the courage to do the direct mail thing just yet. That was a bold start.
Well, it was let's see if I can get this right. It was alltheleads.com.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. And it was their program, and they provided you with the leads. So they did all of the public record scrub.
Gotcha.
And downloaded the list of
right.
And and the personal representatives. And
right.
They even produced the letters for you and pumped them out for you as well if you wanted to. So it was a whole kind of.
And I'm sure that there's companies that do that, and I think that if you have
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, well, I would say that if you're.
I did list a handful of listings, right. But the phone calls, I couldn't. Yeah.
I think that's why I kind of went with phone calls, right. That's kind of why I went with businesses and developed relationships with actual people that I felt like might be able to refer me. Yeah. Because I do think that, if you have someone, a person actually saying, have you talked to, Julie before? She does this and this, it seems a lot better than, just a letter, because that's even with texting and stuff, sometimes, you got to be careful on how you type it, because, voice inflection and stuff. So I think that estate sales probably needs to be a little bit more of a personal touch.
It does.
And and maybe once you get, there are some, corporate type, estate sale companies, and they probably could do direct mail because they probably have a whole department that, handles those calls, and, and they're trained for that, you know what I'm saying? And they build up that thick skin, people like us that like to do it from a point of caring, that part stuff, hard side of it. Right. And people don't see that, and people don't think about that either. They think you're just trying to make money or something, and they don't, but I will say that, whether, I don't know if you've ever experienced, the loss of someone, but losing a family member, and when money is involved, sometimes that brings the absolute worst out of people. And so you do have to be cautious in that, because you can have one sibling that's all for selling everything, and you talk to that sibling and you think it's okay, and you show up to the house to stage it and get it ready, and then the other sisters show up and they're like, what are you doing? And so it is a little bit of a dance.
So do you have one particular situation that really turned into a hairy stickler for you that you can share?
Well, I would say probably it could have. I think that if you don't ask enough questions and if you just go in and wing it, I think that you could even Google like good questions to ask and stuff like that. But you need to make sure that you find out if all the decision makers are there, how many people, just like in real estate, actually I asked to provide proof, like, I'd like documentation saying that you're able to, sell this property or these items, those kind of things. But one time I came or it was a daughter, but the daughter wasn't claimed. I don't remember the exact thing, but anyway, she contacted me. She had the key. We went in, we started looking around, everything was good. And then, she had just signed the contract. And then right at the end, some man showed up and asked who we were and why we were there. And like, I kind of got defensive for that because the lady was little, like, and so I was like, well, I'll take care of it, and I was like, we're here because we're doing this. And he was like, I don't know this woman. And he like started saying all of these things. It turned out she got the key from one of them Heidi holes things or whatever, and she had known, but she was like a distant family member, but like I don't know, unclaimed or something. And then they end up having to go to court and stuff. And then I just
not your circus, huh?
No. I mean, I like to do sales that you really feel like you're providing, service and closure for someone. Like, I don't ever want somebody to feel like I've wronged them. So if not everybody's on the same page, like I usually don't, that's the only time usually I won't take a sale is if it seems like they haven't. Now, I mean, there can be a little hesitation, because sometimes people just aren't sure. And, and at sad times, it's hard for them to make a decision. Mm-hmm. And so, but, if there's one person that's out, I don't even bother. Like, I'm like, come back once everybody's, all on the same page.
Fine. Yeah. Do you make, and of course, I'm assuming you make them all sign the listing agreement, right?
Yes.
Of course. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Good. Well, I'm so glad you came on.
Me too.
I'll be honest with you. I last summer, several months ago, when we were friends and we started chatting, but you jumped on one of my posts when I put out there, I need somebody that would just come in, and because I painted the inside of my house, I took everything off my walls and it all went into the garage, and now I don't want to put any of it back up.
That's right.
The garage is just loaded and just ripe for a yard sale, but I can't get that stuff organized and done. And I put a post out there, I'd pay somebody to come do this. You jumped on and said, that's what I do.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, crap, you're in Florida.
Yeah. And that was unfortunate. But I've actually met a lot of people, through that. And then, and it's great because, I've met you in Florida. I did a spotlight last week actually with some people in Missouri, I think, but it's just, a little bit, and you learn something new every time. And even if you're the one speaking, I feel like sometimes you even learn something about yourself, or ways to improve.
Yep, absolutely. Well, it's been fun. I appreciate it.
It has been fun. Yeah, well, thank you. And, and if anybody ever has any questions, feel free to reach out. I love to, mentor and stuff too myself whenever I can.
Good. Yep. Her website has been floating down there. I'm going to share screen real quick. 1 minute.
Okay.
I'm going to show her pages, her Facebook pages. Okay. Here we go. Let's pop this over there. Okay. All right. So this is your business page, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's her personal business page. And this is her chick flicks. I love that.
Yeah.
Chick flips.
Yes.
So if anybody needs to refer somebody in Tennessee and you're looking for a realtor, go ahead and reach out to Miss Devon.
Yes. Thank you. It was nice to meet you.
Me
All right.
too.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.